me strictly where I'm famous. I'm in this for the longest haul, like we'll see where it takes us. I'm throwing back these double shots like whiskey here is weightless. Cause this career I chose was even riskier than Vegas, yo.
Oh, hello everybody. It's Colby, Psychic Rebel. How you guys doing today? I'm so excited. All right, so today I'm just gonna go crazy. So today we have one of the greatest mediums and teachers in the history of this work in studio to talk to us. He's traveled all the way from Europe to be here with us, and he's a world-renowned spiritualist. He's been a spiritualist since 1983, and he spent, I believe it was 9 years under Gordon Higginson, and he became a tutor himself at the Arthur Findlay College, which is in Stansted, which I have been there, and it's very, very amazing. And today, Paul organizes classes and events at the college, but in addition, he tours the world helping students build their own connection to spirit and develop their demonstrating mediumship skills. And he also has opened up his own school in which he does that. And I believe that is in Germany. So we are going to talk about that more. But before we go any further, I would love to introduce our guest today, Paul Jacobs. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Colby. Great to see you again. Opportunity to talk again to you and your listeners.
Yeah, it's nice to have you. Did you miss me?
I always miss you, you know that.
You're like, oh, that Colby.
Yeah. I need an injection sometimes. I need some Colby.
You need a little. There you go. I wish more people felt that way.
I'm sure
It's great. And our other guest in the house is Melinda Kushner. Now, the great thing about Melinda is she is right here in California and more Orange County based, but she is a teacher. She also works in this industry, does readings as well, helps students, and so love to have her here as well. Hi, Melinda.
Hi, Colby.
Okay, so Paul, I want to kind of go back. So you first walked into a spiritualist church, and it was 1983, right? So what was your first thoughts walking into that?
Well, at first I wasn't sure what I was walking into.
Okay.
Except I know it said the word spiritualist. And when I walked in there, straight away, immediately, without speaking to anybody, knowing anything, I just had this overwhelming feeling that I'd found something, I'd come home.
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny you say that. And now your great aunt was there also, right?
Yes, she was the working medium. She came onto the platform. I didn't know what was going to take place. And when she walked on, I thought, I'm sure I know that lady from somewhere. I hadn't seen her for years and years. And then in the demonstration, she came to me and gave me a contact. And halfway through, she suddenly stopped and she says, I know you. She says, you're Alfie's son, aren't you? And I says, yes, that's correct. She said, well, it's not fair for me to carry on giving you a contact because I know you and the family and we're related. So I'll have a word with you after the demonstration. And that was the beginning, really.
Wow. I mean, so it is kind of neat because it definitely was in the family. The mediumship, and because she introduced you to Gordon Higginson,
That's
right?
right. Well, I continued to go twice a week to that church, and after about 6 weeks, I thought, this isn't for me, it's a load of rubbish. I think I better put my time to something else. And then my Aunt Lavinia rang me, and she says, are you doing anything on Sunday? And I says, no. She says, are you still going to the Spiritualist Church in Wolverhampton? I says, I am, but I don't think it's for me. She says, well, I'm going on Sunday to Longton Spiritualist Church, Gordon Higginson's church, which meant nothing. She says, would you like to come with me? And I says, yes, I'll come with you. And
wow.
And then actually she died 6 weeks later.
Oh.
And I turned up at the crematorium for a service. Now, the crematorium was only 10 minutes away from where I lived, and I arrived 2 hours early, parked the car, looked over, and sitting in the car across the way was Gordon Higginson. And he was taking a service, and he invited me to join and sit in the car, and he says, young man, I can help you.
Wow. That's amazing. Can you imagine? Huh.
Yes, I mean, I've had to put up with so much jealousy even today because of the interest and friendship
Yeah.
I built with him, not just in being a mentor. We were very good friends, and so many people were envious because they all wanted him because he was like the man.
Right.
But he chose me.
But that's the thing. It's kind of because he chose you. I mean,
That's right.
he saw something from spirit within you and said, "Hey, come here."
That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, if I look back, and I often say to students, yes, I went to his classes and I went to his seminars, but I actually learnt more, one, by watching him work, and two, I used to drive him to a lot of the places where he worked because driving was getting a bit too much for him. And the conversations we had in the car, when I look back now, I now realised, how much he was teaching me. I didn't realise he was at the time, but there was many things I did realise at the time when we were driving in the car that he was teaching that really meant more and did more for me than a classroom.
Wow. And it's you studied with him. I mean, how many years was it? I mean, like, gosh, it's like 30, right? I don't want to age you.
That's okay. I was in development for at least 6 years before I went on the platform in my own right.
Right.
And I turned up at the church on a Sunday afternoon, and I don't know, I had a gut feeling that he was going to ask me to go on the platform. So I deliberately dressed that I wasn't suitable for the platform. And I arrived and he looked me up and down and he says, "Why are you dressed like that? You normally wear a suit and a tie for church." And I said, "I don't know, I didn't fancy today. I was going to ask you on the platform." He said, "Well, I still am. You'll have to go on dressed like that." He said, "The medium's not coming today." He said, "So I'll be doing the address and you will be doing the demonstration." So we did that. And afterwards, he said, "Are we having a cup of tea?" I says, "Yes." He says, "Go and make it." So I went and made the tea. And then he sat me down for an hour and told me everything I did wrong.
Oh, God.
But then just at the end, he said, "But the first contact you gave, the whole demonstration was worthwhile for that one contact."
Oh.
And he says, "Always remember, it doesn't matter whether there's 10 people there, 1,000 people, as long as you touch one person and make a difference, it's all been worthwhile."
Oh, wow. That's incredible, huh? See, that's teaching right there,
That's
isn't
right,
it?
That's right. And he never, ever once told me when I'd done well. I only knew when I'd done well when he didn't say anything.
Yeah, I heard he was a little tough, or at least Mavis's stories. He's a little strict, but
Yes, he is. But it was meant in the right way. Even in our church development group with members of the church, the other students used to say to me, "Paul, how do you put up with him, saying the way he is and his attitude to you?" I says, one, because I know I'll be a better medium.
yeah.
Two, he does it to me because he knows I can take it. But he's also hoping you'll listen to what he's saying to me, but he knows he can't say it direct to you. But most of you don't realise that. He's trying to teach you at the same time.
Right, right. I know, and I've had the privilege of studying with you,
Yes.
which has been so much fun. I mean, it is fun.
It is fun. It has to be fun. There has to be a joy. Gordon always said, once the joy goes out of it, call it a day.
It is, and it's, I mean, it's nerve-wracking, but at the same time, you just put it aside because you do, I mean, you learn so much from you. I mean, you really do have this way of bringing something out in each one of us.
That's right. I mean, often when students come, I say, "How can I help you?" They say, "We want to be stretched." I said, "Well, I don't bring a rack with me. You've got to be prepared to stretch yourself."
Yeah.
But the trouble is, when you do try to stretch a student and extend and deepen what they do, then I get classed then as being the hard, horrible teacher, and my expectations are too high.
Yeah.
But students limit themselves.
Yeah.
You often hear the word connection used. Oh, there's a man here and there's a connection with boats. And I said, yeah, but there'll probably be 10 people here who've got a connection with a man with a boat. But what is the connection? That's the evidence. That's going to prove which of the 10 people know the connection with the boat.
Yes.
And then you say, I'm pushing them out the comfort zones, and there's too many come, and there's too many teachers who just want to be popular, and then everything a student does, they tell them, "Oh, that was wonderful, that was nice, that was good."
Yeah.
So when they don't get that from me, it comes as a little bit of a shock sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it for the right motive, the right purpose,
Oh, you can tell. I mean, I don't know, you can see the passion in it. You can see it's coming from an authentic, true place.
That's right. I'm passionate
So
about what
I'm
I do.
passionate too.
I
I know,
really
don't you?
do.
I know.
It's, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of so-called mediums. So I say to my students at the beginning of a course, do you want to be one of the thousands, or do you want to be that little something more? If you want to be one of the thousands, then I'm not the right teacher for you.
Yeah.
If you want to be that little bit more, then I'm the right teacher.
Yeah. I think it's good though. It's kind of, I mean, you're good. You can sting and then you rub it. Oh, it's okay. You sting and then I rub it. It's perfect. It's actually this perfect balance. It really, really is. Don't you find that, Melinda? You've studied with
Absolutely.
Paul.
Well, Paul is, to me, he takes away, you take away from him the best of the best.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, if you want to be something more, that's where you have to go. And you have to study with that kind of a person.
And the thing with Paul is, he sees it. He's not going to push someone that isn't there. He already sees it.
Yes.
It's like Gordon saw you. You see something, and you're not going to let go. You're going to say, look, I know you can get there.
That's right. I mean, for example, I know you've met them yourself, like Chris Drew, and them from the beginning all the way through, because I saw something there, and you know yourself, they could stand on a platform with any medium in the world and hold their own.
Oh, yeah.
And I try to teach everybody the same as what I've taught them, because I know it works.
Yeah, it does work.
As long as the student wants to reach for that something better,
Yeah.
So, if for me, students are away with the rainbows and butterflies and fluffy bunnies, then, again, I'm definitely not the right teacher.
Yeah, it's gonna maybe not so much. I don't think you're gonna be the tooth fairy anytime soon.
That's true.
But it's good. Now you have your own school, right? The House of Spirit, is that what it's called?
That's correct.
And
yes,
it's in
yeah.
Germany, is that right?
That's right, Hanover in Germany.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to go there.
Yeah. Well, I'm in partners with the school with Biagio, and we called it House of Spirit because he's a wine sommelier. So he runs wine seminars there, and I do the spirit communication.
I love that. Oh, it's my perfect place.
Yeah, you'd love it. It's great. We have students from all over the world. We have international weeks, Finnish week, French week, Italian week, German week. So, we bring students from everywhere.
Do the wine students come at the same time, the spirit, the metaphysical students?
We're getting a bit of a mixture, because it's like Biagio has a really fantastic Italian restaurant and wine bar. So like most of his customers have got to know me.
Yeah.
So they've started showing an
good.
interest. I was there the other night, and two people they asked me to join them, and fantastic. My dad's a preacher. He said, but I'd love to know about what you're doing,
Yeah.
And then the students then also, because the food and the wine for the seminars comes from Biagio's restaurant.
I mean,
so
had I
the best
known.
of both worlds.
I can't wait. I mean, that's great.
Some students, I'm not too sure whether they come for the teaching or for the wine and food.
I know. I'll have to make sure I take a class with you while I'm there. But
Yes, you'd love
the
it.
good food and wine sounds wonderful.
It's fantastic.
No, it's really what's good. And then what did you do prior to becoming a medium?
What didn't I do? I've been a croupier. Yes, worked in Birmingham in England. Worked in Holland in the underground casinos. Did a little stint in the Bahamas, crouping. I had my own market business at the age of 8 years of age. I was one of the first in England to open one of these large out-of-town stores selling direct to the public, even though it was popular in America. I was one of the first in England.
Oh, wow.
I had a chain of clothing shops.
So-
I've owned a bingo hall.
So always been always been an entrepreneur.
Yes,
always
yes,
been
always.
a businessman.
Yes, yes.
So with that, was it hard for you to say, I'm gonna embrace being a medium? I mean, was it difficult at all, or did Gordon just say, this is what you're gonna do?
No. I mean, he never actually told me this is what I should do. I mean, I'd been involved with him for a couple of years, and one afternoon we was having a cup of tea, and he just looked at me, and in that voice of his, I don't understand you. I said, calm down, what do you mean? Why you're not taking your mediumship more seriously and do something with it. So after that, then, I seriously then decided to. I didn't deliberately become a full-time medium. I was trying to do my mediumship alongside my business, and then it got to a point where the demand for my mediumistic work come to such a degree, I was having difficulty
Balancing.
with both, so I had to make that decision
Right.
which way to go.
Right. So I'm glad you made that decision.
Yes, and
I think Melinda's pretty glad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, because even if I look back to my business days, I've had the big houses, I've had the big cars, I've had, you know, the money to do whatever. But in all that time, though, even though I had all that success, I was never felt totally happy. As if there was still something within me. I always felt there was something missing.
Yeah.
And then I realised that nothing physical was going to fulfil that empty place. It was only that of the spirit that was going to make me fulfilled.
Oh. Well, you feel fulfilled now. What about this Soul to Soul workshop? That starts tomorrow, right?
That's
And
correct.
it's in Norco. And I think we have a flyer you can put up. Okay. So tell us a little bit about what the Soul to Soul workshop is for students.
Well, I've started to call many of my seminars Soul to Soul because that's what it's all about. And it doesn't have to be about being just a medium to begin with, because the most important thing, if you are going to develop your psychic faculty and ability and your mediumistic ability, you've got to be able to learn to communicate with your own soul, because that's where the psychic work works from, and the same with the mediumistic ability. It comes through the soul and the psychic faculty. So if I can't understand my own soul, if I'm going to understand the soul of somebody living in this world who needs my help, not alone understand and communicate with the soul who's discarded this physical body. So that is the foundation. And then again, a lot of people today, they're not coming for help just because they need evidence of somebody in the spirit world. They come because of the difficulties of living in this world.
Right.
And I can remember saying to Gordon Higginson, when I'm ready to become a full-time medium and do professional readings, I'm only going to see people who've lost somebody. And I thought he'd be pleased with me.
Oh.
He just looked at me and he's so angry. And who are you to decide that? He said, somebody grieving for the loss of a home, a business, a relationship, entitled to help just as much as somebody who's grieving. And I had to change my total attitude because, like a lot of students, I didn't really want to do the psychic development of reading people.
Right.
I only wanted to know about contacting people in the spirit world. So I had to take a retake and re-look at my development when he said that.
Yeah.
And it's just, see, the psychic work is just as important
It
as our
is.
mediumistic work. The only time I have a problem with the psychic work is when they're saying it's mediumistic
Oh,
when
right.
it's
And
not.
it's-
Then I have a problem. But the psychic work, truly in its right sense, and that's what's been said and the level we're working on, great. You know, there's no point me sitting there for 30 minutes struggling to give you a grandmother you're not interested in and didn't know.
Right.
If your earthly life's falling apart. What's
Right.
the point?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, personally, I think they're both, I really enjoy both of them.
Yes,
I
I do.
really
I
do.
do.
So it is, there's so much healing in both.
That's right. And, you know, what people forget, you know, on a psychic level and a mediumistic level, it works exactly the same way. It's just one soul's in a physical body, one's not. We will use the same faculties. It all works through the clairsentience, the clairvoyance. Even on a psychic level, you can hear clairaudiently as well.
Yes.
So it works the same. So, you know, I say to students, if you can't do it on a psychic level, you'll certainly not do it on a mediumistic level. And it helps you to understand better if you can develop that psychic. And it's like your psychic faculty, which is your soul. So doing the psychic development, it's like if you look at your soul like a muscle, it's strengthening that muscle,
Yes.
which helps you with your mediumistic ability. And then plus the psychic faculty and ability in its own right is important too.
Yeah, no, and it is like a muscle. It even feels like that. I mean,
That's
especially having a class with you, it definitely feels like a workout. I'd be like, I need a glass of wine.
Yeah.
No, it's
No, I know,
great.
but when you think sometimes, you know, students come to classes, and I have to keep on emphasising. You come into a class for 7 days a week. They're 12-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know, your mind and the mental energy and the emotion,
Yep.
you know, you can't expect to keep having results to the degree you want, exercise after exercise after exercise. It's not possible. And students in the classroom should not put the emphasis on their result and the performance.
Right.
I don't judge a student on that in a class. You know, what I'm interested in, you're understanding what I'm teaching you, why, the relevance of it, the structure and the technique. Your mind's got it clear, so you can take away Practice it, get it wrong, until it starts happening. That's what's important in the classroom. Yes, I know we all need a little performance to encourage us, but you can't put the whole emphasis in the classroom on your performance.
Yeah, and the thing too is, I think in the classroom is really when we make a mistake, right? But that it's when it brings about awareness, and it's like there's like that whole thought changes. You go, oh, like it's like everything changes, and you can move forward from there.
Right. I say to students, I want you to get it wrong.
Yeah.
I can teach you more by you getting it wrong than I can by you getting it right.
Yeah.
And, in the classroom, if you don't learn and experience what causes the no's, what's gone wrong, then when it comes to the real situation, you're not going to know what to do and how to deal with it. But also, I think they forget, they're learning to communicate with the spirit world, but the spirit world are also learning to communicate with you. So, there's that intelligence there. They know you're in a classroom, so they will take that opportunity to get to know you better, how you can respond to different things, and they will experiment with you.
Yeah.
So otherwise your mediumship will not grow. You'll stay in the same mode, the same level, the same type of
Same
contacts
delivery
and communication. Yeah.
Well, you can see though. The thing is that you can see the mediums you work with. You can see the level of professionalism and the level of connection, and it really speaks for itself. Your teaching really speaks for itself, and I feel so lucky. Like I feel like I didn't have you for 30 years like you had Gordon, but it's like, wow, like I know I'm in a lucky place. Like I know, like this is amazing. So
what I find sad and is difficult for me, say especially at the college, because I've nearly always been given like the advanced students, those who are nearly ready to go out or are already going out on the platform, who've never been to me before. The problem I have to spend nearly 50% of that week undoing the rubbish and resetting the minds.
Right.
And then some students have a difficulty with that. I had a lady from the USA email me a few weeks ago. She says, I hated your class at the AFC. I couldn't wait to get home. She said, I just couldn't go along with it, and you were making me do things all in a different way. I didn't like it at all. She says, but I've had to write to you and tell you. She says, because now some of the things you've been teaching are falling into place, and people have been saying to me how much positive the change in my mediumship is now. And I get that happen quite a lot.
wow. Yeah, it's sometimes people need to sit with it a bit, and then they go, oh, okay. But at least you got to give her credit that she took the time to email you and say you were right.
Yes, yeah. So I'm not always Mr. Popular with students at times, and especially if they want the ego. I'll sometimes say to students, if you've come here to be discovered, then you booked the wrong week.
Right.
If you've come to learn, you'll get everything from me.
And so now the soul to soul that we're starting tomorrow, there's still some spaces available. So if anyone, because we put the link up just in case.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
So if you're watching this and you say, you know what, I really want to study. I want to study with one of the best in the world. Like, you guys sign up for this. I know it starts tomorrow, but you got to do this. This is a great, great opportunity. And now you're also doing some demonstrating.
Yes.
Yeah, you got two. Yay. We have one Friday, right? One's Friday night. That's actually in Norco also.
That's right. I'm out on that one, yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be just you in Norco. So it'll be after the workshop.
That's right.
Take a little break, and then you'll do it there. And that's at the Common Ground Corona. We do have the flyer up, so if anyone needs the address, they can look. And that's going to be incredible. But then Saturday night, you got a lot of stuff going on. Saturday night, you have a demonstration with Tim Braun, and that's in here in L.A.
That's correct, yes. Really looking forward. I love to see mediums I've not worked before. I just love to watch to see how they get the information, what type of information, what they do with it, how they put it together, how they deliver it. So I still find it fascinating to watch how different mediums work. And all students really should watch as many demonstrations as possible.
Yes.
Not to judge them or not wanting to because they want a message, but to watch how they work.
Yes.
And it helps them then understand their own mediumship of what's good or what they need to do in their own mediumship.
Yeah, I think it's one of the. It's great just to watch really good mediums, though. It's just because it's just you're connecting too. I mean, like you're feeling their connection, and you're just feeling you get something out of it, don't you? Don't you, Melinda, when you watch others?
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what level they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I will say Paul is probably the best person I've ever been with, the best person I've ever listened to. I enjoy everything about him because there are certain teachers that actually connect with your own soul.
Yeah, they do. They'll just say something too. I mean, he has this way. He'll look at you and he'll just give these little one-liners, and they're just you're like,
And the truth, it's the truth about Paul that I love.
yeah.
So, Mr. Honesty.
He's like,
That's what I love.
Please or offend.
no, it's really, but you know, on the positive side of that, you'll push someone to again to stretch themselves and to take that next step as to where they need to go,
That's
and
right.
not to just keep playing it safe.
That's right. You know, because you won't move anywhere. I can remember, I think it was the last time I was a student at the Arthur Findlay College with Gordon, and he made me do a contact, and it was for him, actually, and I was quite chuffed and quite pleased with it, and I sat down, and he just looked at me, and he said, "You finished?" And I said, "Yes." "So you don't want to be a good medium, then?" So I said, in front of all the students, so I said, "Yes, of course I do." So he said, "Well, instead of just telling me the lady had a piano, tell me what she played on the piano. Instead of just telling me there's a photograph frame on top of the piano, tell me what was in it." So I got back up, the piano come back, I could see the sheet music, told him what she played, the communicator played. Yes, that's correct. Then I got my own back on him. Before I said what was in the photograph frame, I said, "This lady was a medium." He says, "Yes, that's correct. How do you know that?" I said, "Because in the photograph frame isn't a photograph, it's a psychic drawing of a North American Indian who was a guide." He says, "That's correct. Now, that's the difference between an average medium and a good medium." So, you know, if you say, "I've got a man who worked with his hand with tools," instead of just playing safe and stop there, if the tools are there to tell you whether he was a carpenter,
Yeah.
whether he was a plumber, whether he was an electrician. But too many students are scared of being wrong,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
You see, where with me, I was actually trying to prove I wasn't a medium when I first started. So I wasn't scared of being wrong. So I'd have been quite happy to be wrong. Unfortunately or fortunately, I was right. You know. But that's what holds people back. They're scared to go the next step. It's not that the extra information's not there or they're not capable. They're too scared of being wrong.
right,
You
right.
know, and you've got to lose that.
Do you ever just get? I mean, does it ever get tiring? Do you ever just get tired sometimes of like dealing with ego or dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love demonstrating. To be honest, I could do it every day of the week.
Yeah.
It is my favourite. I've got a passion about teaching, demonstrating mediumship because I was fortunate what Gordon did for me, and I always said if I can do the same back for somebody else, I will.
Right.
And that's why I've got this group of people. I've took that extra interest and took them to the stage they have. But there are times I do have groups, and I think, you know, are you wasting your time, Paul? You know, maybe
Yeah.
you should find another profession to do. You know, at times you do get groups like that. But, you know, if there's a group and there's one person, there's that something there that I know it'll make a difference, then it's been a whole
It's been worth it.
worthwhile. But even so, the other students can get something from
do,
it.
yeah.
But I've had to learn to accept not everybody is going to reach the level I would like. I was taking 2 groups last year, which I'm doing freely. I took 2 groups of people every month for people who couldn't afford development. And, you know, and there's a number of them. I know they were never really going to achieve the standard I'm looking for. But where I had to look at, I know they'll achieve more than they would have done if I hadn't have done it. So
Yeah.
I have to look at it in that way too.
That you were able to help them grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you travel though. You go everywhere. I mean, you go to everywhere. I think every country. So Australia, all of them.
That's right.
Do you have a favorite?
I used to love Italy. I still do.
Okay.
They drive me mad at times, but I do love them. I do love the country. Probably it's the food and the wine. But I do like the Italian personality and expressiveness. But when I first started going abroad, it wasn't as popular, so many mediums going. I think nearly every country I went to work in my early years, in the cities or areas I went, I was probably the first medium. Say Lugano, the Italian part of Switzerland. When I first went there, I was the only medium. I think we had 50 people at the first demonstration. It then built up to 600 people coming to the demonstration.
Oh, wow.
And we built an organisation, and it's only very small, the Italian part of Switzerland. Switzerland's small. And we had 1,000 members in that organisation. So I've done it in Holland. There's a fantastic organisation in Holland, which I set up with the medium I've trained. You met and worked with Jose Gossuk. She's got a fantastic academy there. I've set up 3 years ago a residential centre and a monastery for mediumship. So I've always gone to new places, starting something new, and once they're up and established, I then move on to somewhere else.
Again, that business entrepreneur is still inside of you.
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
is now like
Yeah.
building the foundations,
That's right.
you know,
Yeah.
putting them up. What is like, when you look at a Chris Drew and you look at an Andy Bing, because the one thing I think that you really do is you make sure they keep their personality.
Yes.
So what about that is important, or how do you maintain that but yet build their mediumship?
Well, I've always said to them, because when you're being taught by somebody, yes, you can pick up that teacher's mannerisms, some of their expressions, and if they go too far with that, I have to pull them up about it. And I always stressed, yes, you can use all what you've learned from me, but keep your own personality within it. Don't change, because what you've got to realise is with the spirit world, all they've got to work with is you. Nothing else. And I'm really stressing in my teaching, your weaknesses and strengths in your mediumship will be the weakness and strengths in your emotions, and your mind, the weaknesses and strengths in your mind will also be the weaknesses and strengths in your mediumship. So if you've got a mind like a butterfly, your mediumship's going to be like a butterfly flitting here everywhere. If you've got a very analytical mind, if you allow that to be too strong, even we need focus and discipline, you'll then be analysing, dissecting everything the spirit will give you and destroying it before you've expressed it and given the communication chance to build and work. But keeping your own individuality. I can remember an old medium from Gordon's generation I'd never met before, and I went along with a friend who was a friend of this older medium to watch another demonstration of top mediums, and in the interval, it was my early days, he says, I want to have a word with you. And I said, yeah, I'm okay. He said, see, the mediums are working tonight. He said, you can be better than that. I said, me? And I mean, they were top mediums. I said, I don't think so. He says, yes, you can, only if you do one thing. And I was waiting for this great revelation. And he says, simply be you. And I didn't quite understand it at first, but when I look back now, and the change to me when I work as a medium, you're seeing the real Paul. Because in everyday life, I was a person who didn't really like people to see the real Paul or know the real Paul. Yeah. But that was putting a barrier to my mediumship.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because the spirit world have only got you and the essence of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. It is, and that's actually one of the things that you had told me. You were just like, Colby, don't you ever change who you are. And I was like, oh, thank you. Right? Because, I'm loud. I'm from the East Coast. I'm and so it's kind of like, oh, okay.
That's right. It's like with demonstrating mediumship with me. I think it's because like when I was a young boy and a young lad, I'd have a market stall where not just standing quietly, I'd do all the spiel selling my wares and gather a big crowd. Well, in a way, the spirit world could use that for the demonstrating, but I'm just selling the spirit instead of a box of chocolates or...
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of neat. It is interesting. And I wonder all these different careers, if they didn't somehow play into your mediumship also. Do you ever find that you're able to pop in clothes or pop in bingo or gambling just because of your past?
Yes, the spirit world will use your experience of life. You've got to be careful that you're not just pulling things from your own imagination, but because when the spirit world, it starts off in the higher consciousness, comes through the subconscious, and your subconscious is the storehouse of your total experience on every level of your being. So as they come through the subconscious, then they can pull out onto your conscious mind things that you can use and easily recognise to give as evidence in your contacts.
Okay, yeah, that's good, and that helps students. And do you recognize that when you're working with a student, like, oh, you know what, that's just you, or that is?
That's right.
Okay.
Or they start off with information, but then they just then embroider the story with what is the general scenario, and then it starts going wrong.
Yeah.
You know, what gets me mad, I don't understand, you know, it's like you hear in the group all the time, all these grandmothers cooking in the kitchen with mobility problems and an apron. You know, and I say, well, you know, we've been having that all week, then why can't one of you give me a contact from my grandmother who was a professional cook in a hotel, was a professional cook in a health home?
Yeah.
If they can show you a grandmother cooking in a kitchen at home, why can't they show you a grandmother doing that? Again, because my grandmother might have been trying to come showing cooking, but they're just playing that narrow mindedness.
The safe.
You know, if it's really going to go somewhere, you've got to have such an expansive mind, and especially if you want to travel internationally and you're working professionally, you don't know who's going to walk through that door. You know, I can remember being in Italy and a guy walked in off the street every day, casually dressed, and he sat down. I was aware of his father, and I nearly didn't go with the evidence. Oh, this can't be right. I knew he wasn't Italian, but I wasn't quite sure what nationality he was. I said, I thought, well, I've got nothing else. I've got to go with it. And I said, your father was connected to royalty. I said, he's on about presidents. He was friends with a politician who was shot and murdered. And he said, yeah, that's right. He says, my father was friends with J.F. Kennedy, and his father was an Arab prince.
Oh, wow. Do you ever just want to, like, fall off your chair? I mean, now you probably don't, but then did you just want to be like, oh, my goodness?
Yeah, but, you know, it's I had to go with it. But, you know, if my mind had stayed so narrow, it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. But there's a part of you that had to have known that it was right, I guess, or connected, right?
Well, I mean, even sometimes in my experiences, when information comes, sometimes it'll come like a flash. Sometimes it will only seem like imagination. But as I teach to students, I've got to trust.
Yes.
And be prepared to be wrong.
Yes.
And if I'm wrong, okay, put my hands up then. Okay, I'm wrong. And don't make an issue and a problem out of it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
You don't ever have trouble now making a connection, right? Is it just there? Is it just like?
No, I mean, there are some times when I'm physically, mentally tired, and I think, you know, am going to, you know, is this going to be an effort? And actually, sometimes when I demonstrate better when I'm tired. Yeah. Because I'm so tired, I can't be bothered to doubt. I can't be bothered to fight or analyse what they give me. I'll just give it. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. and sometimes it goes better. You know, because I'm keeping my unconscious mind out of it and interfering with it. You see? And that's the problem, keeping our conscious mind out of interfering with what they're giving us. Yeah,
it can be scary, but it's really a beautiful journey that you take your students on. It really, really is.
But you know, I think what they forget, you know, even now, I get so excited. I'm like a kid at Christmas with a new toy when the Spirit will give me a piece of evidence I've never had before or in a different way. You know, and you can see it within me. And I watch students sometimes when they're training and, you know, they look as if they're dead. You know. Yeah. Or there's no excitement and joy before they've even started. Yeah. I said, if I was the Spirit world, I wouldn't bother with you. Right. You know. Yeah. You know, because I mean, they're going to be choosy. You're the one to use as well.
Yeah, I right, and it's you got to have fun too, though. I think it's got to keep the fun in it.
Of course it does. You know, but there's got to be that joy in it. It has, and that excitement. And I think some even students have lost the wonder. You know, for me, one little piece of information, for me, a miracle's taking place. You think another mind we thought was dead and gone can still impart a piece of information into a conscious mind encasing that's physical body. Yeah. It's a miracle. Yeah. It's a wonder. And I've never lost that. And I hope I never will. The day I do, then it'll probably be the day for me to call it a day.
Tap out.
Yeah.
We call it tapping out. So, Melinda, how do you feel that your mediumship has changed since working with Paul?
Well, gosh, my mediumship has changed from years ago to the current because we were taught many years ago to go through gatekeepers. And,
Oh, okay.
so it's changed a lot from there, and understanding the philosophy and that we're not healing just this world, but we're also healing the spirit world.
Yeah.
And that philosophy.
That's a good point, because people forget the communication is not just for the recipient,
Right.
it's for the person in the spirit world.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think we forget that element.
Yeah.
And I think also we forget at times as mediums that they are real people.
Yes.
And we've got to stop treating them as imaginary figures or treating them just as information.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Honor that. And okay, so again, for anyone, you know, if you want to learn and you want to grow, this is a wonderful opportunity. It starts tomorrow, goes through Saturday. It's in Nortco. It's at a lovely, lovely space. It's really great. Common Grounds, right? That's the name of it.
Corona,
Yeah.
yes.
And you can sign up. You can go to melindakushner.com. They can sign up there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And the link is there, so the link is right there. So you can do that. And if you're in the LA area and if you're not making the class and you're in LA, you got to go to this DEM Saturday night. This is right in they call it Los Angeles here. It's kind of like a West LA area, and this is a great venue here. It's at the Olympic Collection. I actually was there for a wine tasting.
You should let me know, and I'd have joined you.
But and I plan on being there. I can't wait. And this is going to be a fabulous, fabulous demonstration with Tim Braun and Paul Jacobs. So now you get to see two of these really world-renowned mediums and, you know, see how they work. You get to learn and grow, but also enjoy it. So, you know, bring some family, bring some friends, get some tickets for that. Again, they're on melindakushner.com. And Paul, if you're going to do this course or you're in the Nortco area or don't mind the drive, you get to see Paul's demonstration solo by himself at the Common Ground. And, I have to tell you, I've seen him a few times demonstrating, and it is incredible. I mean, it is beautiful because he does bring the spirit, and he does bring the personality, and he does bring the story, and he does bring the healing and the connection, and it's awesome.
Thank you, Colby.
It's awesome. It's like
You're making me blush.
it's like well, at least I'm making you blush in a good way, not through frustration. So that's good.
True.
So I'm really excited, and I'm so honored that you both took the time to be here and to be on the show and to share this knowledge and this experience with the audience.
It's a pleasure, Colby.
Oh,
It's a pleasure.
thank you. And if you were gonna leave, like, you had one day left in this physical world, right? What would you want to make sure you left behind? What's the one thing you would want to leave behind?
Somebody to continue the work that I'm doing.
Oh, that's good.
And that's why I've took the interest personally in those I have.
That's a
To
great.
continue that work.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's good. Huh. And they're
And
doing great.
hopefully, just one on a personal level would just be that hopefully that this world's a little bit better in some small way for me being part of it. And
Yeah.
that should be important for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And who's your favorite student, Colby? So who?
Colby.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Because I love a challenge. I love a challenge, you see.
Yeah. Now you know what my mom says, right? My mom's just like, oh my gosh. So, and it's wonderful, Melinda. You put in so much effort to bring these amazing teachers here to cater and to do this and to house, and it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it is
Well worth it.
It is about you're doing this part too to kind of.
That's great, because I'd love to acknowledge that, because without people like Melinda, it wouldn't be possible for us to reach as many people as we do.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it without them. So It's wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's just let people know where they can find you on social media. We have melindakushner.com as your website. And what
Correct.
is your Facebook? And are you on Twitter, Instagram?
I'm on them all.
Okay.
I'm on everything.
And is it just at Melinda Kushner, or what is your tag, or do you not know? I know so many of us don't
That helps
know.
me because I'm really bad with computers. But it's,
Perfect timing. Does she know?
Yes, she would know.
M. Kushner Medium.
I learned
there
something
you
new
go.
every
There you go. And we put Paul Jacobs' website up. So your website is up there. Do you have a Facebook?
I'm on Facebook, yes.
Yes. I mean, I have you. I just want to make sure it's like, can we tell
Yes,
other
yes.
people or
Yes. I'm.
keep you all to myself? No, it's good. It's great. And you're doing wonderful things. I mean, you're changing students, but you're changing lives, and you really are making a difference.
That's right. Like people like Chris and Andy, they say, we dread it when you go to the spirit world. And I says, why? This is when we're working and demonstrating, you'll be there. You won't be able to help yourself, and you'll be there trying to interfere, telling us what we're playing at, and not doing it correctly.
Oh, yeah. I know sometimes it'd be easier in the physical, right? Well, again, I want to thank you so much. Looking forward to the class over the next few days. Anyone sign up. I'm looking forward to the demonstration myself.
Great.
And, I hope you enjoy your time here as
I'm
well.
sure I will.
I hope LA and our community treat you well and with love and kindness.
They did last time, so I'm sure they will this time. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Thank
you,
you,
Colby.
Melinda. Thank
Thank
you
you very
guys
much.
so much
Thanks,
for being
Colby.
on the show.
Great.
So, well, for 3 minutes, what are we going to talk about for
Your
3
book.
minutes? Oh, I don't want to talk about my book yet. I want to keep it on these guys. So, yeah. The book is going to be here. So I want to just really talk
So is this
about.
one a gift for me to read?
That is my only copy, but I will
all
give
right
you a
then.
gift. I'll bring you.
That's
I'll bring you one in November.
Okay.
How's that?
That's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll keep you to that promise.
I promise to do that. So, now, just Melinda, is there anything for you coming up then that you want to share with people?
Well, actually, I'm just really working very much at trying to bring the quality mediums here. So I do have Paul again next year.
Oh,
He'll be
great.
coming. And I would hope that if nobody can make it to this workshop, that they will look up my website, because we will be putting together another event that Paul will be coming to, because there's nothing better than having the highest quality of mediums that we can bring over here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know we have quality mediums here,
Yeah.
but it's a different thought process. It's a different way of connecting to the spirit world.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that.
I mean, there is nothing better than a great teacher, though, because you can learn so much from
There's
different
so
teachers.
much. Absolutely.
Again, because it's the same thing. If they're bringing their personality and they're bringing who they are and their essence to their
Absolutely.
teaching, you're going to get something special from each
Right.
each teacher that is giving you, and they're going to see something in you that needs to be nurtured or pushed or prodded or whatever the
And I
case
try to
may be.
incorporate that also. I do teach on Wednesday evenings. I teach a class at Common Ground Corona.
Okay, so then they can look that up too. Is that on the
Absolutely.
website?
That's also on my website.
Okay.
Because I like to teach what I've been learning from them.
That's right. And that's what happens in most of the countries I work in. There's somebody there who I'm teaching, and then they sort of then can, like, in between courses, then have the opportunity to keep practicing the exercises that I've taught from the seminars.
No, yeah, that's
because
great.
if a student does nothing from one seminar to the next and don't find a place or somewhere to practice what they're being taught, then it's like starting from the beginning again each time. So it's great if there's somebody like Melinda or organiser or bringing
Yep.
mediums out can provide that facility for people to have that regular training in between a seminar. So that's great.
So that we make you smile next time you see us.
That's
and
right,
you
and I can see the
I see
change.
that.
That's-
That's
They've been
That's good.
working.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and that's what it's
yes.
about. It's about bringing the smile to Paul, because if
That's
you've
good.
done that.
Yes, you have miracles taking place.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we will sign off with that. And again, many thank you guys. Okay.
Thank you,
Colby.
too. Thanks.
Awesome.
Okay. See you soon.